getting jitters.
No, I'm like sort
Talking
of
about
like thinking about
it now.
freaking me out now. I don't know.
Okay.
So we go to this party.
Really cool party.
Really great party. Fantastic.
One of the coolest parties I've been to.
Yeah.
Candyland theme clown prom. It's amazing. A bunch of my really close friends show up. I didn't think I was allowed to invite people, but then apparently they all got invited and it was amazing. And we're all dancing and drinking and we were partying for 9 hours and in this hot tub on the top of the Hollywood Hills with this very treacherous road down. And Shane fell asleep for a while.
Yeah, I fell asleep in this room where they were replaying Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory just over and over and over again. And I kept waking up at the same parts after they reran it.
It's super weird.
Brad, any highlights in the party for you?
I'm just really good at dancing, but
No, your dancing was spectacular.
but the family, I mean, there's a trained acrobatic artist.
Oh yeah, Bonnie, the Morgans, they're amazing. They're
just and they ended the whole party.
Oh my God, the end of the
with
party!
A really nice,
like
great dance.
Yes,
Great dance.
these two gorgeous girls in bikinis did like a belly dance together, and it was just for a group of like the 10 surviving people at 5 a.m. This guy, we need a way out because Shane is falling asleep, and Brad is dealing with some stuff that was going on in Brad's head, and essentially we're like, well, how do we get out of here? And this guy stands up, and I didn't see him at first.
His name was Carlos. He's sitting on this couch. He's got a big camera hanging from his neck.
Ken 5D?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice BMW.
Very nice.
Well, we didn't know
He
that.
appears out of nowhere. I mean, I didn't see him until that point. But yeah, we were like, we need a ride. And he's like, oh, I'll drive you. We're like,
Yeah, totally friendly.
just like, yeah, super nice guy. Like, well, I'll drive.
But like,
Was wearing a lot of makeup.
yeah, a lot of like weird foundation. So we keep saying like, okay, we gotta go. Like let's go. And he keeps going, like talking to people, and then finally he takes us outside and he gives us like this short speech about like we're all connected, and like I'm doing you this favor, and like I'll drive you down to where you can
Yeah.
get a cab. But like it's this momentous thing,
We get outside and there's this old car blocking his car.
like an antique car.
Like an antique car, and we're like, oh well, we gotta get this moved. He's like, and he goes, oh well, no, you guys move
You could
it.
just move it with your hands. I thought it was not a.
Brad was under the influence.
I didn't think it was a big deal.
That was
But
when
it's
the warning
stupid.
sign. That was like the warning sign.
it's a
Like when a
very-
guy says, "Move this antique car with your hands."
Very clear
like-
warning sign.
And so, like, we were like, another guy moved his car so we could leave. Otherwise, we would have been trapped, which would have been insane, but probably better than what happened. I can't believe that happened. It's still hitting. As we're getting in, I realize there's something weird with this guy. He seems kind of all over the place. He seems frazzled. He scrambled his thoughts. What did you say? You said something about his cognitive thinking. You said, like,
It was gone. He had none.
Because of the car, us moving a car is
Yeah, like
clearly
it's
that's
and
an
also you
easy
say
thing.
move a car with your bare hands, then you're not there. You're just
no, but he was all over the place.
And you couldn't. You kept trying to like get his focus, and he kept like talking and like looking around. And you're like, hey, look at me.
Yeah,
Look at me, look at
I
me.
snapped right in his face. I went, look at me. I went, look at me. Are you on mushrooms? And he was like, no, never in my life.
Yeah, never in my life.
And I was like, do it.
He's like, never in my life.
We get in his car, and I actually had a moment where I was like, we're going to die. Before we got in the car, and I was like, I'm sorry. This.
Yeah, Max goes. Yeah, this is how Shane dies. Like, and I was like, yeah, we're fine. We're just gonna be okay, right?
I was so upset. We get in the car. He goes, okay. He turns. The Morgans live on the top of a castle, or on the top of a mountain in a castle. And not kidding, in the Hollywood Hills. The Hollywood Hill roads are very curvy and narrow and frightening and very kind of worn down and ruddy, and you can't predict them. It's also wet because it's dawn. Everything's fucking like, just totally like wet and frightening. But he turns and he slams on the gas as we're going down at a 90-degree angle, goes around a curve, hits a potted plant. I don't know if you noticed that.
no, I didn't.
Took out
I
a
didn't- I
potted
didn't see it.
plant.
No.
But we're now skidding out of control, Tokyo drifting down the side of a mountain like this. And He then swerves around a corner and then slams on the brake. So okay, so if you don't know anything about the Hollywood Hills, we're next to drops that if you
Drive fast enough, you just fly.
you just fly.
You could just tumble over the side of a sheer cliff and just die.
And,
Yeah.
and also the problem is that these turns, like cars could be coming up,
Yeah.
right? Like people.
Oh my god, I hadn't even thought about cars coming
I
up.
think that, like there's gonna be people, like there's people walking their dogs, people jogging, cars coming this way.
Do you remember him also? He almost hit those two guys with the dogs.
The one guy with the dog is just like.
It's one guy with two
Didn't he
dogs.
say that was his friend?
He said everyone is my friend.
Really? He said that?
I feel like
Okay,
he
but
said that was his
so he scares the shit out of us. We're all sitting like in abject silence and just horrified and just unmoving. And he turns to me and he goes like,
I don't like when people condescend.
He was like paying us for like seemingly something that Max said. It was like
he was teaching us
Teaching
all a
lesson.
lesson for me.
for a movie star.
Yeah, because he thought I was. Yeah, he said I was a movie star. He mistook me for a movie star, so he was like scaring the movie star to put him in his place. Except for there was no element of control in what had just happened. That was maybe one of the scariest things that I've ever. Like I've done a lot of scary shit happen to me in my life. That's like one of the only times where I've just been like, I'm about to die.
He kept saying weird stuff when we were like, so what do you were like, what do you do? And he's like, oh, I'm a cocaine guy. I am a cocaine guy.
I have lots of
Laboratories.
They're very clean laboratories. Lots of cocaine.
and he's like-
and then it's just like, oh, silent.
No,
These
he's
guys are
not.
silent.
Okay, so he told that story,
It's
and
like
then
a
he
joke.
slammed on the brake, and we were like shitting our pants. And then he was like, "What? You guys? Oh, you think because I'm Colombian? We didn't know he was Colombian." He's like, "You think
No
because I'm
idea.
Colombian, I sell drugs?" And I was thinking in my head, "No, I think because you just almost tried to kill us."
And just
You're
because
gonna-
anything you
that what he was saying was what was scaring us, but it was the
Yeah.
fact they were going 80 miles per
anything
hour.
you say, we're gonna believe you're a complete stranger.
And then he was like,
There's no reason for us to not believe.
and then
what you
he was like, "No, you know, like I'm in coffee." And then he told us like my best friend is a movie star. Like he seemed totally high on coke, gonzo insane. Is driving down these tiny roads. He didn't do anything really scary after the first like completely oh my god Thunder Mountain we're gonna fucking die thing. But then at the end, Brad, who is you know.
I trusted him. I shouldn't have.
You were
saying
the-
it. Yeah.
And he.
Brad kept saying, I trust you, I trust you, and like, I really feel like we're gonna be okay. Meanwhile, I can feel the like vibrations of Shane's body through my seat. I am like sitting and I have my hands on the dashboard in case I need to like, by the way, at this point, I am wearing rainbow stockings and a tutu and a wife beater and these arm sleeves. I look fresh retarded. It's the nightmare, and I'm like ready to fight this guy in a car going down a mountain for my life.
Yeah, what was your plan again?
My plan was to go like, Fwah.
I was like, oh, that was a really funny joke. All the things that you're saying that are supposed to be jokes are funny.
Yeah.
I was just kind of acknowledging. the
Meanwhile,
jokes.
I'm just thinking, Brett, shut the fuck up. Like, you just stop talking to him. What?
And did you also notice, like, at the very beginning before we started driving, he talked about how we're all connected.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's connected. And he brought it up after the drive, too, where he's like, your name, I forget your name. I do not care. But we're connected.
Yes.
It's like, so you don't care about us, but we're connected.
Oh, what did he say? He said, I would never crash when there is someone else in my car.
Oh yeah, he only crashes by himself. Is what he
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, I would only crash when I was alone. I'll die alone in a car crash, but I will never crash with someone else in my car. We're like, no. And then he was. What did the thing about Bel Air? He said where they were.
He's like, he didn't even. It didn't
They were
make sense.
following him.
He's like, no, Bel Air, I tell you, Bel Air, I drive. He's crazy. Like, no, Bel Air. And my two friends, they crash while following me. It's like, wait, your friends, they crash while, are they, what happened? Like, what happened?
No,
Like,
you're
you're fine, you're bragging about it. He's
Yeah,
like,
you're bragging.
They cannot keep up. They
This isn't even my car. This is a piece of shit. I love this car. I've driven it for 10 years.
So it's like just going back and forth.
It was just.
I love this car. I hate this car.
So then he's talking about how in Bel Air there are cameras. We're coming up onto Laurel Canyon from Kirkwood. So we're on a slope like that. And it's wet. And he goes, when you drive in Bel Air, sometimes you just like this. He slams on the gas. We get to like 50, maybe?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I think probably 50, but going at its sheer
Down that,
Yeah.
boom, like that. And
At a
then
red light.
at a red light with cars passing, and then he slams on the brake, throws the car into park, and pulls the emergency brake. So we go like that. And then he wanted like to. Then he took us down, and so at this point we're just sitting in the car like this.
I was too smiley at the time.
You were laughing. Brad was in an altered state.
At one point, I'm sitting there like just still like a rabbit when they go into that freeze mode where they're like trying to avoid a predator. And Brad just goes like he like taps me on the leg. He's just, he's just like
I was like,
he doesn't even look at me when he just goes like.
Easy, kid.
We're gonna die.
We're gonna die. And like, so then he pulls us up to Sunset, and we're like, okay. And I'm like, okay, let's get out right now. Let's get out right now. But he doesn't let us out. Instead, he like pulled around the corner, and I was like, no, we have to get out now. And he let us out. But then he was like trying to show us pictures of. He was like, I'll take you to my house. And he told us that story. What was the story he told about the girl?
Oh, he said he had this beautiful woman back at his house, but this morning he woke up and her boyfriend came home, and so he had to run out the back.
No,
it's just a cliche,
just crazy.
made-up story.
Just crazy made-up stories.
Yeah, it's just like, and then he's like, "Wow, that was a close one." It's just like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
And so then we all get out of the car, and he's like trying to show us he has a broken Canon 5D camera.
He just had a broken camera on his neck.
And it was so
He was
scary.
hanging, yeah.
It was so scary.
And they wanted to show us photos of his house, but the camera didn't work, so we just kind of parted ways from there on an empty Sunset Strip.
On Sunset, in us all dressed fairly ridiculous, and I just like fell to my knees and was screaming. And then we decided, okay, well it's 7 a.m. Let's go get breakfast. And now we're getting breakfast, and we were all sort of thinking about, you know, the three of us. That like was it. That first one. The second one was real scary, but that first one.
Yeah, because I didn't think he was gonna stop.
I thought he was gonna go straight over that.
I thought he was just like either we're gonna crash instantly, or he's going to drive the entire way down. Like all 5 to 10 minutes of this is going to be this.
Insane, and we're definitely going to crash.
There's no way you can.
Yeah.
We have no
If
control.
he continued, we would have hit those guys.
We would have hit something.
We would have hit people.
I mean, other than a potted plant.
We were all sort of contemplating, like, what if that's how we died? What if that was just it? Like, what if, like, you know, an actor, what are you? Actor, producer, comedian, everything, and a writer type guy, they get in this car at the end of this crazy party with this guy who says he's okay, and then he drives off a cliff, and we die.
And that's the end.
And that's the end.
Also, because I had told my mom yesterday, I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to this party. It's like a Cirque du Soleil party. It'll be crazy. I don't know. Like, we'll see how it goes." She's like, "All right, we'll just be safe." I'm like, "I'll be safe. It'll be fine." And then I die.
You're always safe.
And I'll die.
Until you just completely put
Until
your
you just
hand,
die.
your life in the hands of a stranger
And then you,
who suggested that we're all connected somehow, and that Max was a movie star that he had to
teach a
them
lesson. And then, yeah, there we go. And we almost died. Woo!